Welcome to Inside Industry, where we make complex industries simple. Today we're diving into a company that has become one of the most important on the entire planet, NVIDIA. And to really get what makes this company tick, you have to start with its absolutely mind-blowing price tag. Okay, let's just start with a number that is, frankly, hard to wrap your head around. Over $4.5 trillion. No, that's not the GDP of a mid-sized country. That's what NVIDIA is worth. It puts them right up there in the stratosphere with giants like Apple and Microsoft. And to see just how fast this all happened, check this out. We're talking about the entire semiconductor market here, a huge industry. And NVIDIA's slice of that pie has more than tripled in just 4 years. That's not just good growth, that is a flat-out earthquake shaking the entire tech world.
So all of this just leads to one massive question, right? The one everyone's asking. How on earth did a company famous for making our video games look awesome suddenly become the single most important engine for the entire AI revolution? To really understand the strategy that's fueling that crazy stock price, we've got to look under the hood.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with their journey from pixels to AI, then dig into their secret weapon, see what they're planning for the future, and finally, check out who might be coming for the crown.
All right, so let's rewind. Our story doesn't actually start with AI. It starts with something a lot of us know and love: video games. So, picture this. It's 1993. NVIDIA gets started with one main goal: make PC games look amazing, more realistic, more immersive. But then, in 2006, they made this one decision, probably seemed pretty niche at the time, but it quietly planted the seeds for, well, everything that's happened since. And the key to all of this was their big innovation, the GPU, or graphics processing unit. Now here's a simple way to think about it. Your computer's main brain, the CPU, is like a master chef. Super smart, great at handling one or two really complex tasks at a time. A GPU, though, it's like an entire army of line cooks, all doing a simple task like chopping vegetables, thousands at a time, all at once. This parallel processing was an absolute game changer for graphics, because you could render all the pixels on a screen instantly. But here's the crazy part. It turned out that this superpower, doing thousands of simple things at once, was exactly what another field needed. A field that was pretty small back then: artificial intelligence. And this is where NVIDIA played their trump card. They built something called CUDA. Now listen closely, because this is the secret sauce. CUDA is not a chip. It's software. It's basically a key that unlocked the raw power of their GPUs for, well, anything. It let developers and scientists use that army of line cooks for stuff like complex research and, you guessed it, for training artificial intelligence. And this simple software platform created this massive, unbeatable moat around their entire business. Think about it. An entire generation of AI researchers and developers learned to code on CUDA. They built all the essential AI tools we use today on CUDA. So now, if a company wants to switch to a competitor, it's not just buying a new chip. It's throwing out years, maybe a decade of work. They'd have to rewrite everything and retrain everyone. It's too expensive, too difficult. They're locked in. And what's the result of that lock-in? Well, look at this. Because of that CUDA software moat, NVIDIA owns something like 90% of the entire market for AI chips in data centers. That's just total dominance. See, they don't just sell the shovels for the AI gold rush. They invented the way you dig.
And when you have that kind of lock-in, you get incredible pricing power. I mean, a hardware company with profit margins of almost 75%, that's almost unheard of. It's because customers aren't just paying for a piece of silicon. They're paying for access to that entire CUDA ecosystem they can't live without.
Okay, so they're on top of the world. Time to sit back and relax, right? No way. NVIDIA is not standing still. In fact, they're using this position of power to basically write the rules for the next chapter of computing. Their CEO, Jensen Huang, has this really powerful vision. He says, look, data centers aren't just for storing your vacation photos anymore. They are becoming AI factories. And what do they produce? The most valuable resource in the world today: intelligence. And of course, NVIDIA is the one building all the machines for these factories.
And the next generation of that factory machinery is called Blackwell. And yeah, it's way faster, a huge jump in raw power. But that's not even the biggest story. The real game changer here is efficiency. We're talking up to 25 times less energy and cost to actually run an AI, what they call inference. Why does that matter? Because it directly attacks one of the biggest problems with AI: the insane amount of electricity it consumes.
And this is where it gets really interesting. They're taking all that power and dominance in the data center and using it as a launchpad to expand. Their new goal? Put an NVIDIA AI brain inside basically everything.
First stop is your car. We're not talking about the chip that runs your music playlist. Their drive platform is designed to be the central nervous system for self-driving vehicles, crunching all that data from cameras and sensors instantly.
I don't think this is some far-off future plan. It's happening right now. Their car business is exploding, up almost 70% in a year, because the big players, Mercedes, Toyota, GM, are all signing up to use their tech. But when you're the king of the hill, everyone wants a shot at the throne. And having a near monopoly on something this important, it puts a massive target on your back. NVIDIA's future isn't a sure thing. There are some serious storm clouds gathering.
For the first time in a long time, there's real competition. You've got AMD breathing down their neck, and their chips are getting really, really good. But their strategy is clever. They're not just trying to build better hardware, they're pushing an open-source software called ROCm. It's a direct attack on the CUDA moat. They're basically saying to developers, hey, come over here. No walls, no lock-in. It's free and open.
But honestly, the biggest headaches might come from geopolitics. The US has banned selling the best AI chips to China. That doesn't just cut NVIDIA off from a huge market. It basically forces China to pour billions into creating its own NVIDIA. And on top of that, some of NVIDIA's biggest customers, we're talking Google, Amazon, are starting to design their own chips in-house. Why? Because they don't want to be so dependent on just one company.
So let's wrap this up. When you look at NVIDIA, what you're seeing is a textbook case of how to build an empire. It's this incredible 1-2 punch. Fantastic hardware, sure, but backed up by that unbeatable software moat, CUDA. They pulled off one of the greatest pivots in business history, going from making games pretty to making AI a reality. And that leaves us with one last big thought. As AI literally becomes the new engine for the entire global economy, is it sustainable for one single company to hold the keys? Can one company be the sole architect of our future? Or will the system itself fight back and diversify? We've seen how NVIDIA built its kingdom, but the battle to power what comes next, well, that's only just getting started. Thanks for joining us on Inside Industry.